Hi guys! So I'm uploading a video right now, just ranting about alter space and all that stuff. And I kind of wanted to make another one because I've been meaning to talk about the subject for a while, and now seems like a good time. Why not? Also, I'm sure I look... Sorry, that's my 3-year-old. He's playing in his room. I don't know if you guys heard that. I'm sure I look really different today. Contacts, hair's up, so. But anyway, right down to it, this video is actually going to be about my children and motherhood and just your spiritual journey and how to kind of manage that alongside motherhood and some things that you can do. And also just kind of how I raise my kids and as a pagan mother. So I hope I don't rant or ramble too much. I'm going to try and really stay on topic here. But as you guys know, my kids are 3 and 1, and they're both boys. And before I had children, of course something's in my throat the moment I hit record. Before I had children, I was pretty nervous about raising or really having my kids involved in my beliefs at all, because I felt like the line with kind of forcing them to believe what I believe was really thin, and I didn't want that at all for my children. But then I started to realize that I want them to exposed to many different beliefs, because I feel like then they can make an informed decision of whatever they choose as they get older, and also hopefully it will teach them tolerance. So, perfect example, my in-laws are Lutheran, and they've asked me several times before if they can take my sons to church, or if they can take them to vacation Bible school or anything like that, and I don't care. I want them to have exposure to that sort of thing. Mostly because I really do think it breeds tolerance. And for a bit of a background on me, I was not raised under any religion. My parents basically took the same approach of people believe different things, and some things work for some people, some things don't work for others. It just depends, but it's important to be respectful of people's beliefs. And, long story short, then I found paganism when I was in my teens. But my children, I realized I didn't really want them to be hidden from my path, and it was partially my husband, who's an atheist, who helped encourage me with this. He said that it wasn't fair to shield them from it. They needed to see what their mother did, and so I kind of do it in a very light way. I celebrate the Sabbats with my children. I try to talk about what happens when we just did summer solstice, of course, and I baked a cake. We painted the sun on it. I try to get them out for nature walks. I try to talk about general respect for nature, and I try to teach them a love and acceptance for all things natural in that sense. But I also am very strict on science as well, so I don't know if you can hear him, but he's just like banging on his door. But so I mean, I try to get them out in nature. I go camping with them. When I was a child, my parents took me all over the West Coast to go camping, and it was one of the best experiences. One of my most profound childhood memories was being among nature, and I want the same experience for my children. But I don't intend on ever forcing any of this upon them. It's kind of more of a, this is what mom does, and sometimes I have my 3-year-old be involved in the sense of, for instance, if he's anxious, I try to teach him grounding techniques, or he has nightmares sometimes, so I will smudge his room. I've shown it to you guys before. It's a little spray bottle with just sage and lemongrass. I'm gonna try and actually make a dream spray for him with lavender and stuff, or sometimes I'll take lavender incense and just burn it in his room for a little bit before bedtime. And I think it just kind of helps him calm down a little bit and understand that there are no monsters and nothing's gonna get you. And I even tell him sometimes, I'm like, Mom's too tough, like nothing's gonna come get you. And he gets a kick out of that. But when we're kids, we are taught that magic is real. And then as we get older, we're not allowed to think that. So magic holds a lot of weight to a child. And I think there's something to be said about that. I think it can plant a beautiful connection, and I'm hoping that even if they walk a different path as they're older, they will carry the appreciation and love for nature and the natural, all things natural that we as pagans do. And I hope that my goal as a parent is to raise decent, kind, loving men. So, because I mean, I only have boys, but you know, if I was to have a daughter, that wouldn't have changed that one bit. But that's my goal, and I'm hoping that by sharing my beliefs, I can teach them this tolerance, and I can teach them this acceptance, and I can show them all the wonderful things that paganism has to offer, and I hope that they see all the wonderful things that come from other paths as well. So, you know, so I do include them to a degree in my beliefs. But when it comes to balancing motherhood and my spiritual path, that actually was quite a challenge. And stepping into motherhood was definitely a complete game changer. They say that when you have a baby, everything changes. They are not kidding. Everything changes. You can't do a single thing without thinking about that child. And then you have two, and then you can't do a single thing without thinking about either child. And my work my work literally doubled. So it was definitely a challenge, but my spiritual path slumped off for quite a while. I worked with fertility magic to conceive both my children, and I tried to remain connected throughout my pregnancies, because pregnancy is a very, very empowering and magical time. I know lots of women gripe about being uncomfortable, and there are many, many uncomfortable things that occur with pregnancy, but there's also a lot of empowering things that happen too. And it's undeniably fascinating, at least in my opinion. So I enjoyed both my pregnancies, and I can tell you right now, they were not easy, and they actually were high risk and scary. So, but I still enjoyed them because of the connection that I had to myself, and the connection that I had to feminine divinity, and the connection that I had to I call it spirit, everything. It's, you know, so, but as you have a baby and you go through recovery from childbirth, and you go through extreme sleep deprivation, and you go through postpartum depression, it's hard to feel spiritual. And as you take on the responsibilities of motherhood, it's still hard to remain spiritual, because there are so many days where you're just so exhausted, be it if you're a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, it doesn't change. You either go to work and come home and you take care of your kids, or you stay home all day and you take care of your kids. You're still, no matter what, you are a mom, and it is unbelievably exhausting to raise tiny humans. And so your spiritual path is going to slump off. It will happen. It's unavoidable. But there are many, many things you can do to find your way back. And for me, it was taking my kids out in nature. It was spending that time for myself when they were resting, to be among my pagan faith. And you know, and the other thing that actually, I have to get up and grab it because I didn't think before this, but there's a book called Witchy Mama, which was, I got it, it came out shortly after I got pregnant with my second son. Witchy Mama. It's by Melanie Marquise and Emily A. Francis. This book is awesome. It covers trying to get pregnant, it covers pregnancy, it covers recovering from childbirth, and it covers all these fun things you can do with your children to incorporate you know, your magical life. It's got bath magic, bedtime magic, all that fun stuff. And it's got energizing techniques for moms, de-stressing techniques for moms, anger managing techniques for moms, because let's face it, we all get frustrated with our kids, and it sometimes can be really hard to keep your emotions at bay. So I highly recommend this book for all you moms out there. The other thing that I really would like to do a video on at some point is just kind of pagan friendly children reading. Books that introduce kids to nature. I have a few on summer solstice and just some on like the moon and trees and nature and things like that. There's so many books out there that you can read to your kids that are not, they're not overly pagan, but they're very very natural, I guess would be the best way to put it. So I think that's about all I wanted to talk about in short, and I'm hoping I covered everything that I wanted to, at least right now. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm always willing to answer questions. I'm always willing to do video responses. I'm always taking video requests. Like I said, inspire me. I love the inspiration. I hope you guys are having a beautiful weekend. Blessed be.